Hello everyone and welcome to another Steel Speaks video, and we are very lucky today to be able to have the developer of an upcoming game called Sanctuary. We got Tatsu to answer some questions about this game. Say hello, Tatsu.
Hello everyone.
Welcome, Tatsu. Hello indeed. So are we ready to answer some questions?
Yeah, let's go.
So some people would compare the game to Total Annihilation, Supreme Commander, and or Planetary Annihilation. How is it similar and what makes it unique?
There are indeed quite a few similarities. Reasons why it's unique is a little bit complicated for me to answer, because actually the answer is it will be revealed upon the Kickstarter. We're actually making a big thing out of this, is that it's going to be part of the big sale of the game. The big wow factor that's gonna maybe help with making it viral. So we're gonna wait until December of 2021 to really add to what's really unique in terms of gameplay about Sanctuary. But yeah, there are a number of things on which Sanctuary already stands out, and those things are more on mechanical level, right? On a technical level. Performance-wise, it's a game that like really holds up. We have support already for 10,000 units shooting projectiles, simulated projectiles, and this happens across the web for 8 players. So yeah, there's already something to be said for how Sanctuary stands out. It runs on multiple threads. Now this is something that Planetary Annihilation does. But Planetary Annihilation has a server-client model, and we have a server-client model as well, but the difference is our server is one of the players. So we already have scenarios in which we're more performance than, say, Planetary Annihilation. And yeah, more will come on this afterwards.
Alright, so your lips are kind of sealed here, huh?
Yeah.
Alright. Well, I look forward to your Kickstarter then. My goodness, I am really excited for that. So everybody be on the lookout for that come December, right?
That's right.
Oh man. All right. So what makes you convinced that your team could pull this off?
Well, we have what I believe to be quite a formidable team. Myself and Nine are the founders of this project. I myself am not an exceptional coder. I'm decent at UI, and that's what I'm tasked with on this project. Apart for also managing the community and drumming up a fuss about this game, as I'm doing presently. And Nine, he's absolutely phenomenal. He already has a game released on Steam. The fact that he's done this and he's done this alone and has had moderate success with that means that like he already has experience in game development and is really capable of getting up to speed with new techs quite fast. We have a member on our team called Ozone X, which you may or may not have heard of. He previously made a little demo for Planetary Annihilation with planets and little units that were on and everything. This was, right after Kickstarter for Planetary Annihilation had succeeded, so the game wasn't even available in any form yet. Development was still very much ongoing, and he had that already up and running on iPad and on the web. He's also made the Forge Alliance Forever map editor. So yeah, Ozone is our technical artist. He's incredibly competent. He's what I would say is one of the strongest elements on our team. We have Bedump, who is quite young, so doesn't really have already a bunch of credentials to his belt, but he's exceptionally gifted. He put together our pathfinding, our terrain, most of our netcode. He tackles problems on a really low level. He's always trying to gain performance on very small amounts of bytes. So yeah, he's quite impressive. On the art side, we've got also some people which are quite famous, I would say. Avitus, he made the models for Supreme Commander 2 revamp mod. You may have heard of that. It's got artworks all over the place. It's been used quite a lot for, when you search for Supreme Commander, the best looking images that come up are generally renders of his. He takes care of the chosen faction. For the EDA faction, we have somebody who goes by Special Bread, also known as Exotic Retard. He's famous for most of what you see in Nomads. So he's been maintainer of Nomads, which is the fifth faction that's available on Fortune Lands Forever. He's also been the maintainer of Equilibrium mod. Kubo Wu's also quite the artist. He's taking care of Guard. I would say that like probably wouldn't know him from anywhere. All that put together though, like there's also Speed too. You might know him as well. He put like together the 4K mod for Supreme Commander. There's several other members. We have Oblivion. We have Antipodish. We have Ben. Yeah, there's exceptional talent there. A lot of them have a deep understanding of the ECS framework, and all of them put together, they just work splendidly well. And it's a team that's knocked through so many challenges and so fast that yeah, it really gives me confidence. It really gives me faith that this is a team. If anyone can pull it off, it's this team.
Great. Did you talk about who did the music yet?
Oh yeah, that's a good point. We have Philip Crofts, who you may know as the author of the Philip Crofts music mod for Supreme Commander. His music is really exceptional. Honestly, you're gonna have a full set of tracks already available on the Sanctuary RTS.com website. I strongly recommend you check them out. I find them honestly great. I think they're going to complement the battles. They're going to really complement the gameplay.
So, on that website, what is available right now? What could we see on that website? It's Sanctuary RTS, or is it just Sanctuary RTS?
Sanctuary-RTS.com. You can also find it at Sanctuary-Games. We have a number of URLs. But yeah, anyways, you have a breakdown of, basically what kind of game this is. You have a presentation of the three factions. You have an FAQ page for all of your all the questions you're likely to have about this. And you have the music, obviously, as I mentioned, and the videos page, and also you can find out all about the team that I listed out.
That's awesome. So, anybody watching right now, check out sanctuary-rts.com for more information that we may not cover here. So, continuing on, is your team developing an engine or using an off-the-shelf engine?
We're using an off-the-shelf engine. We're using Unity 3D, better known as Unity. We're on Unity version 2021, basically the latest that's available. It's actually better than just an engine that suits our needs and suits our particular set of skills and suits our developers. It's actually really, when it comes down to it, I think the best choice we could have made for this type of game. We actually spent a lot of time over the year of 2020 researching this, and it kept coming back to the ECS framework, or better known as the DOTS stack. The ECS framework, or entity component system, is the idea of having small bits of code that are going to define entities, and those entities are going to be created by the engine and handled on different threads and moved across threads appropriately. This is really what you want to be using when you want to have thousands of units, right? In their demos, they show examples. For example, of people wanting their first person character to be able to shoot thousands of projectiles a second out of their machine gun. But yeah, a better application of that, I think, is an RTS with a whole bunch of units. In such a scenario, you can also have your projectiles be entities. And so yeah, that's what we did. And yeah, I can safely say that I'm really happy with that choice. It's something that really allows an indie team like us to make this project a reality. There's a good chance that we wouldn't have aimed for this scale of a project or attempted this at all if Unity didn't exist in its present state.
Okay, that's awesome. So, do you feel like you sufficiently answered why that choice?
I feel like I actually could go into that further. The way that the engine is presented to developers, and that it's how you assemble your code, the cleanliness of it, the speed of it, the ease of debugging, the debugging tools that come with it. It's a lot more comfortable to use than the C sharp, the C++ you're gonna have to deal with in Unreal. The compilation time is quite fast. There are many advantages, and yeah, setting it up with a team of our scale, it's really accessible. And all the benefits that come with C sharp, with the language, with the debugging tools, it really speeds up progress tenfold.
Well, that's great. That is awesome. You did mention something about 10,000 units being on screen at once. Is that the final number, 10,000 units plus
Yeah,
projectiles?
that's kind of like our target right now,
Mm-hmm.
and we think we're probably not going to budge from that because we've optimized it, and yeah, we can optimize it further, but like we're also going to be adding more things to it as we go. All of them are going to be animated at once. All of them are going to have FX going on. There's going to be like a whole bunch of extra things that we add. Maybe they lay decals on the ground as they move forward. Maybe they interact with the trees, knocking them down. As we add more and more things, there's going to be things that take away from performance. And we think that by saying 10,000, we're giving us ourselves a margin. But this is what we want to say is officially supported. This is obviously this game's going to be moddable, and obviously somebody could make a cap that a mod that lifts the cap, and then you can do whatever. But within the sandbox that we say, this is what we can basically guarantee your 60 frames per second at. That's 10,000 units divided by however many players we end up supporting. Right now we're up to 8. We'll probably do more.
That's still a whole lot of stuff going on screen. I mean, hopefully everyone's computers can handle that because that's a lot. Wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I love it. So, did you mention projectiles are calculated already? Like, is it like they're not like are projectiles determined to hit like in StarCraft, or are they calculated like in the Supreme Commander series?
Yeah, definitely like in the Supreme Commander series. These are simulated projectiles. They have their ballistics. They're once they leave the barrel of the tank that's shooting them, they're on their arc. They go through the air. They may collide with something that's in the way. The computer doesn't know what that's going to be ahead of time. Has to actually simulate it out to find out. Maybe it ends up missing the targeted unit altogether. And it hits the ground. Maybe it does impact with that unit. Maybe a plane, comes in the way and gets hit, and as an unintentional consequence. But yeah, that's what it is to have simulated projectiles.
That is awesome. So, how is pathfinding handled in Sanctuary?
Right. So we use flow field pathfinding. This is something that, well, I think your audience will be familiar with this. This is, something that was implemented with Supreme Commander 2. pushing the envelope a little bit further than what Supreme Commander 2 did, where we're going to try to make the units feel a little bit more natural. Flow Field has a tendency of having a little bit slip and slide effect with the units, and this is absolutely something that you can wrangle if you tweak the parameters just right. Every implementation of Flow Field is unique. Flow Field is a paper that's public, but everyone has their own implementation. And so far we have a bunch of very neat features in our own implementations. For example, we already support automatic formations happening out of the box, and that like they can simply pathfind without a formation, and each unit will have its own little path, or you can set it to be in a formation. And these formations can be of varying sizes, a small group of 5, a big group of 20, maybe a group of 500, all of that works.
So you could set the formation size.
Not at the present time, right? If you selected, your 500 units, then you can say be in a formation or don't be in a formation.
Okay. So that sounds awesome. I really like that. I really like that a lot. How was the netcode being handled?
We made our own netcode for this. Well, we put together a solution that's fully C#. Like I was saying originally at the beginning of the video, the important thing of note is that you won't be tied to us, for the ability to play your game online, which is very important. As certain gaming communities have found out the hard way. If a company goes out, sometimes this means that the game itself goes out as well as soon as the servers go down. So that won't be the case with Sanctuary, since with Sanctuary, with our netcode, one of the player acts as a server for the other players, and so yeah, and this would be dynamic, by the way. It's not something we have implemented at the present time, but it shouldn't be long. The idea being that obviously if somebody who is the host, who is currently being the server, and this is determined not by you, right? When you start the game evaluates who has the better upload speed, that guy becomes the server. But if that guy dies and decides to leave the game, as it should be his right, well then the server role gets transferred to next best person with next best upload speed, and that guy becomes a server. Right, and we'd like to expand on that and also have hubs, because server hubs, because if like the main person, the person who's the main server is also connected to a group, like he's in America and he's connected to a group of people who are in England or whatever, one of the guys who's in that game who's in England could act as the server for the other two who are in England, right? And then this would help even more the network load, right? I believe this is something that hasn't necessarily been done with other games. I don't know. I feel like it's a relatively new idea. Anyways, it's gonna be particularly useful, I think, for this type of RTS.
So we're looking at a smoother experience than past RTS titles.
Yeah, I mean, like if you're comparing it to, say, Planetary Annihilation or a Spring RTS title or a Supreme Commander or something like that, yeah, it's quite similar.
Okay, that's great. That's awesome.
And yeah, I do want to make sure that it's understood that at this time we're promising 8 players.
Only 8.
Yeah.
Don't overpromise. Don't promise something you 100% can't do.
That's right.
I get it. I get it. I totally understand that. And I have one more question. You might not have the answer to this one or not. Could we have a separate observer spot for tournaments? Because I've noticed some other titles don't have a separate observer spot. It literally takes a player spot, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So with the server client model, you get the benefits of being like, well, okay, this is a tournament game. I want this to be available to a whole bunch of people live at once. I want to like one of the players to be the official Inharden Media server. We're Inharden Media, by the way. You're 8 players in the game. This ninth stream of data is being sent to our servers, right? And we receive that, and we can broadcast that to X amount of people who connect to it, right? So it doesn't add more load to the players that are currently playing their game, and doing whatever. On our end, we can like tweak the delay if we want to, and then it becomes easy to dispatch that to however many people decide to connect, to watch, to become an observer. The fact that we're not lockstep deterministic, which is something I probably should have been explaining already. But yeah, we're not lockstep deterministic. The fact that we're not means that you could have, you don't need to have people start the game with you and run, the steps with you. They could, connect at any time when the game is started, and probably jump into like a certain point in the game instead of like having to play through it and catch up or something like that, right? Does that make sense?
So like a player could start anytime in the match, or a streamer, like a person could watch anytime in the match. Like start watching anytime in the match is what I mean.
Yeah, yeah. Well, anytime that currently exists, if the game is ongoing, this whole setup that we have allows for a number of features that haven't been done, at least in Supreme Commander. Planetary Annihilation's replay features are a lot more extensive. Like you can rewind, you can pick a certain point, and thanks to curves, they quickly get you to that certain point in the replay. So that's quite nice. But yeah, we're, for example, thinking about supporting the fact to be able to reconnect completely to a game. So say your computer crashes or something like that, or the power goes out, whatever happens, and you want to continue the game that you were in, right? You're going to be able to boot Sanctuary back up and reconnect to the other players who are still waiting for you, or whatever kind of setup we have with that. Yeah, it's something that should be entirely possible with our model, and that's kind of like quite important for us, because I feel like this is something that community of players we're geared towards have been missing.
I would agree with that. I actually think that's a great idea. I love all of what you just said. And replays. You mentioned replays. Do you think we could have a replay system at all, or?
Yeah, again, where we get into like the Kickstarter territory of the questions. The fact of the matter is, like, we're on a budget here. We're a small indie team. We've got our runway for the year of 2021. December 2021 is when we're going to have our Kickstarter, and that determines if we keep going, right? So what's gonna happen is at that point, after December 2021, if we didn't manage to succeed in our Kickstarter, we'll release a game, a game. It will be a game that allows you to do skirmish matches in multiplayer with other people. But there's not going to be like any AI. There's not going to be campaign. I don't think there will be replay functionality in that case, right? However, this is one of the promises we want to make in our Kickstarter, is that if we do succeed with our Kickstarter, then yeah, that's definitely a feature that we want to have. And then we definitely want to have things like reconnecting, being in a replay, starting up at a replay at a certain point, being able to pick up as a player at a certain point in the replay, like you have the AI take over the other players that were in these certain states at that point in the game, and you play versus them, or even pushing that idea further. You like, okay, guys, I have this replay. I wanna like theory craft, or at least play this as a challenge. Do you guys want to connect to that? And you host that replay at that certain point, and you have other friends with who are going to play those roles, maybe themselves, that could be a fun little feature to have.
Wow. Okay. Well, anybody listening right now, please be on the lookout for this Kickstarter. We got to get this game funded because all that sounds just mind-blowingly amazing. So please, people, be on the lookout for Sanctuary. Please.
Maybe when you asked that question about what makes Sanctuary stand out, I should have started with some of that.
Yeah, maybe. Dude, this is mind blowing stuff because I never even thought about this stuff. Like you could load a replay scenario and like play it through. Like that is just wow.
Well,
Wow.
I mean, like, I think that this is something that StarCraft 2 at least has a theory crafted about. I'm not sure if they finalized implementing it, but this isn't like entirely new of an idea, right? To be fair, I want to give credit where it's due. You know, StarCraft 2 does come up with very good ideas.
Well, there's nothing wrong with borrowing some ideas and putting them into it in your game. So I appreciate even this idea. So Kickstarter, guys, fund it. So let's move on, shall we? You said there's going to be 3 factions. Am I correct? Do you have any plans to add more, or are we just going with 3 for now?
We're going with 3 for now. Maybe by the time we reach December, I'll know if I want to do like a 4th faction as a stretch goal or something like that. But at the same time, we've done a lot of like debating about this, and we also like listen to the idea that maybe 3 is a sweet spot, right? So we're weighing that in the balance. At the same time, I'm the kind of guy who's like, oh yeah, 5 factions, 6 factions, awesome, like more choices, right? But then, it becomes this thing where they are less distinct, they're less unique, they stand out less. I guess with 3, you can very easily get yourself in a situation where there's like a really interesting dynamic between the 3, where they play quite differently. And at the same time, you can still find your bearings in each, but like, they have character, right? So that's something that is important to the Sanctuary team. That's why we're thinking maybe we're gonna stick with 3, yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's great to know. I love it. So where are we? So will each faction have land, sea, and air capabilities?
Again, this is another question that takes us back to the Kickstarter thing. I'm pretty sure that in the time allotted to us, we won't have Navy in. I mean, like we've already fiddled with it. It's really fairly easy, right? You just add a plane, and then you can pathfind pretty easily on that. You can say, okay, this plane is pathfindable only by this type of unit, not this other type of unit. And you're almost pretty much done, right? What it does come down to for us is more, will we get a fully fleshed Navy in terms of like the models that we produce, the animations, the effects, all of that. There's a lot of artwork to do there, artists' work. I don't know, right? The honest answer is I don't know, but we definitely will have air. We definitely will have a land navy. Those are, well on their way. We already have quite a few units already in the game in its present state.
So land and air for sure, and navy is a stretch goal, kind of, right?
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe by the time we get to December, we'll be like, nah, you know what, Navy is we'll see.
Well,
Maybe we'll say we've already done Navy. We don't need to put that as a Kickstarter stretch goal. So let's think even bigger, right? Because
okay.
maybe we'll have like something much bigger to make a Kickstarter stretch goal out of.
Okay. So what you're saying is land and air for sure, navy maybe, and if all goes well, it's a definite thing. If all goes well, correct? And then maybe
That's
something
right.
even bigger later on. My goodness. So
Yeah.
you're not going to tell me anything about that. And
I'm sorry. I'm going to keep you in suspense for now.
I like that. No, there's nothing wrong with a
You're gonna
little.
have to-
No, I think that's good. We need a little mystery here, so people keep wanting to come back and seeing what Tatsu has to say next time I bring you on, because you are going to come on again, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
So we're going to
definitely.
keep definitely. So we're going to keep going on with this. How many tech levels?
Thinking 3 tech levels. I know that like most of the community that I might be addressing here, Supreme Commander 2, TA likes Spring RTS and Planetary Annihilation are more used to tier levels. But yeah, we think that 3 is much more appropriate for Sanctuary. You have a fair few ideas there.
So it's going to be kind of like Forged Alliance, like 3 tech levels and kind of like a big experimental. I didn't even ask you about experimentals yet, right? So
Yeah.
so you say 3 tech levels. And will there be experimental type units, and what will they be called? Like Titans and Planetary and Night. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like big units that are something you pour a lot of resources and time into, and when they finally come out, boy, are they worth it. Yeah, oh yeah, I know what you mean, and like you, I love that feeling. So we definitely want to have units like that. We haven't really come up with a name for them yet. Yeah, we'll come up with a name. We're still brainstorming.
So it's in development.
Yeah,
So they're coming though, right?
yeah.
So we're looking at 3 tech levels and a big game ender tech level, is what you're saying.
That's
Beautiful.
right.
Beautiful. Love it. So it's a lot like Supreme Commander Forged Alliance.
Yeah.
Awesome. Love it. I cast that too, by the way. And just making sure you know.
All right. Yeah, I didn't.
Oh, no, no. It's all good. Like, I know this channel is mostly Supreme Commander 2, but I'm getting back into Forged Alliance because people are starting to send me stuff for it. And I'm like, okay, good. And so I love
All
that
right.
game, but I love all these games. Like I just love this commander based stuff. So when I saw your YouTube channel, I lost my mind. I was like, I gotta get a hold of this guy right now. And yeah, so here we are.
Awesome.
So let's see, where are we?
Awesome.
What are the resources and how will they be gathered? Are they like we talking about like mass, metal, or like in
Yeah.
energy or yeah?
So what we have is alloy and plasma. They're very similar to your metal and energy. The idea is similar, but since you're on the Dyson sphere, you're actually using parts of it as resources, right? So you've got lots of damage has been done to the Dyson spheres. There's a bunch of gashes, some openings where like splinters of debris falling back down just punch through. And what happens then is, you've got like the sun, which is producing a lot of heat. There's this beam of light coming up through that hole. And it's melting the interior sides of the hole, making molten metal, and you can place buildings on top of that to scoop up that molten metal, shape it into what you want. And now you have like your metal rods, which we call alloy, and plasma. Is this far future? We perfected fusion reactors, and plasma is what produces the energy, and the dynamic is very much this plasma resource is abundant. You can easily place your reactors anywhere on the map, and it's going to generate quite a lot of it, but also constructing consumes quite a lot of it. As for alloy, it's more rare. These holes on the map are the only place you can place these extractor structures, and so and they generate at a lower pace, but at the same time you don't need as much alloy when you're producing stuff. So there's this dynamic of these two resources. Yeah, we don't have like a third resource like population or something like that, or yeah.
That sounds awesome. So you'll be like gathering the alloy of the actual Dyson sphere. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's rad. I wonder if you're going to have a unit that will actually tap into the Dyson sphere and use its energy. My goodness.
Yeah, that's something that makes sense to me as a guard game ender building, or maybe not even necessarily game ender, because the guard are the bots that built the Dyson sphere. But yeah, it makes sense to me that, like, of course, obviously the Dyson Sphere comes equipped with this whole bunch of solar panels on the inside, obviously a bunch of mirrors on the outside, so that they can reflect sunlight that's coming in through, intentional holes in the Dyson Sphere to give sunlight on the surface of the Dyson Sphere. But yeah, there's obviously a whole bunch of energy that's already been being collected by the Dyson Sphere itself. And yeah, I think it would make sense to have like a building that allows you to tap directly into the power grid of the Dyson Sphere, but that would be something that I think would be guard exclusive. This way, it's like a guard game ender, and it can be quite powerful to have like limitless energy. I think you can do a lot with that.
Did you just give up a possible Tech 4 unit? Oh my
Yeah,
goodness. Everyone
you forced
take
it out
note.
of me.
Take note, everyone. Take note. Take note. We got something. We got something out of him. That's funny. Okay, so this is going to be a flowing resource, not like fixed resource. So it's going to be like kind of like Supreme Commander, Forged Alliance, and Total Annihilation. Okay.
Yeah,
Great.
that's
great.
right. That's right.
Great. And maps. How large will the maps? Will they be big maps only, small maps only, or like will they be varied in size and shape and all that good stuff?
In terms of size and shape, we're always looking at something that's either square or rectangular, generally square. And in terms of the size, it's comparable to some maps you would have in Supreme Commander. I would say smaller on average, initially at least. We want to focus on that more, competitive core of gameplay. Obviously, since we're going do multiplayer as a guarantee, single player is a big if. I would say in general smaller. We have our own scale for Sanctuary, which is different to like the scale as it's been laid out for games like Supreme Commander, for example. I would say in general smaller.
Okay, will there be a map editor, or will that be one of those Kickstarter things?
No, as a matter of fact, the map editor is available right now. If you go to our Discord, there's a channel there called Available Binaries, Available Files. You can download it and try it out. It allows you to load the two maps that we've made that are available right now. So yeah, you can just go ahead and try it out.
So I could kind of sort of make a map right now.
Yeah, kind of, sorta. The editor is missing a lot of features. Very alpha, but yeah, the more features are coming soon, like the ability to place decals and editing the height map and stuff like that. Obviously, you want a lot of those features to be readily available to users and not have to edit those PNG files in an outside program and then just place them in our editor. Still very rough, but it's already something that you can try out.
That's awesome. Awesome. You already have samples. That's great. So how many win conditions are they going to be? Like assassination, supremacy, or like, game ends on command or death, or, things like that?
This is again something that's going to depend on a successful Kickstarter. Originally, it's going to be assassination. That's the first one that we're going to implement. As we find time, we're going to implement as many as possible. We like all the different variants that exist, like survival. There's even like different ideas where one's called zombies. It's interesting where your army of the person whose king piece you snipe, that army becomes yours. There's different things we can do, right? But for our current target, I would say it's assassination.
That's awesome. That sounds very awesome. So let's see. I think you already answered this one. Will modding be supported?
Yes, I sort of touched on that, but yeah, absolutely. This is something we're being very careful to support extensively. Obviously, again, with more time, we can provide even more support for modding. But we're already being careful with the initial code that we're laying out, with the foundations that we're laying out right now, to make sure that our setup is highly moddable. The UI is something that will be accessible with HTML and CSS files. So I think really highly moddable, right? If I'm not speaking out of line here.
So you're hoping for a highly moddable game, right?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah. Mods really make these games, right? Like,
Oh yeah.
I would
Oh
say like
yeah.
it's one of the biggest aspects of of these games. It's very important that that they be easily moddable because this creates a level of community engagement that you wouldn't be able to create otherwise. It's it's simply incomparable. So we're very keenly aware of that, and that's why we're being careful to make sure that it's very easy to mod our game.
That's awesome. It also adds to the life of the game. I mean, that you hit the nail on the head with the community. Like it'll create a community of modders, and that's just awesome. Just great thinking. You mentioned how multiplayer will be handled, and you already mentioned how many players it'll be. So, will the units be shared amongst the players? And will the players' units die upon commander death, or will the units be given to their allies?
That to me falls under units being given to allies or not is simply something that falls to me under win condition, right? Because it's like one of the behaviors that happens
Yeah,
for
yeah.
win condition. I think that like what we're gonna do is implement first on losing your king piece, you lose your entire army, and then as like the next heartbeat, we're gonna also implement full share, preserving the army and having that army going over to the teammates. These are two different game modes that I think are really like they're twins. They're very close. They're very important to almost an equal number of people. For the main game mode, for the one that's competitive, probably gonna keep army death. It's something that the Sanctuary team is still internally thinking about. So I'll have more on that later.
All right, thank you for that. All right, so the artwork. Let's talk about that a little bit. Is it cell shaded, or are you going for more of a like realistic feel?
We're definitely not cell shaded. We're definitely going for more of a realistic feel, right? And yeah, this is something that like we're pushing much further towards, and is it probably another thing that I should have mentioned when you asked about how Sanctuary stands out. The graphics is another big selling point of Sanctuary because existing previous games like Planetary Annihilation, even to a degree Ashes of the Singularity, which was supposed to be really quite a graphic show, quite a nice, quite a looker of a game. I humbly believe that it didn't turn out that way. It doesn't sell visually that much. Sanctuary is really pushing the envelope in terms of what you can do with modern graphics. That's not a common theme for RTS, right? Most RTS are, I want to say, stuck in the past. In terms of graphics, obviously it's not a genre that's very active right now. It's coming back. It's coming back. Definitely, there are a lot of new contestants. I think like graphics is one of the big things, the big selling points of Sanctuary. We have like a very quite realistic aesthetic, gritty almost you could say. I'm gonna have realistic looking explosions, metal reflections, textures, all of that.
All right, that sounds fantastic. I look forward to seeing that. I really do. So, where is the best place to follow Sanctuary's development? I think you already mentioned sanctuary-rts.com, but are there other places like a community server of like Discord or something?
But yeah, there is a Discord. You'll have the link for it
Of
on
course.
the website. We kind of like plastered it over there. I highly recommend anyone who's interested in Sanctuary and all the things I've said here today to join our Discord. This is the place where we interact directly with our community. Of course, we have the typical social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, VK, all that, YouTube, and etc. But we're really much more active on our Discord, and that's where you can find us. That's where you can ask us questions. That's where you're gonna have regularly posted, like weekly You're gonna have new models for each faction. You're gonna have contests on mapping. You're gonna have, well, recently we had a contest on deciding the faction logos, but now that's finished. We've pretty much decided, subject to change, of course, but we're pretty happy with what we have. There's quite a lot of content to go through on the Discord. Quite a lot to do. It's the closest lifeline you'll have to the developer team. So yeah, I highly recommend it.
All right, that's where I found you, on Discord.
Yeah.
And that's what we're talking on right now, right? So, Discord, I'll even link it down below. So anybody who is interested in getting involved in this community, definitely join the Sanctuary Discord. Definitely worth it. So
yeah, we're 830 and counting, so
Ooh.
it's
growing.
It's growing.
I love it. So it's a growing community, and like
Yeah.
Tatsu said, contests. You could be part of the development of this game, kind of, sort of. In a way, you could help
Yeah.
make decisions. I mean, how cool is that? Like, where in the world else do you get that opportunity? Not a lot.
I don't know. There's like I would say there's different games that have done that to an extent, right? Like Planetary Annihilation was very involved with their community all throughout their development process, right? But like I think this is also pushing it a step further. Like they were interacting with a forum, we're interacting with a Discord. This is like instant and direct connection to us.
Yeah, and this is right now, and that was well, they're still kind of doing it, but that was mostly 2014 or 2013. But this is now and on Discord, and like Tatsu said, you can get a hold of them immediately and maybe get an answer immediately. So I think that is super cool. When the game is launched, where will it be available for purchase?
It'll be available on Steam. That's the platform that we're interested in selling on. At the time, that's like what we're interested in. Obviously, with more budget, more outreach, we might be interested in more platforms than just that. But, I'll leave it at that for now.
So Steam's the place, guys. Pay attention. Okay, so what is the best way for people to support this project? I noticed you had a Patreon, but what's the best place to support this project?
Well, that's the thing. You'll notice, like, I didn't mention the Patreon already, even though we like talked about the website and the places to keep in touch with them. Obviously, Patreon is a big one because we post a lot of exclusive content there. But honestly, if you're gonna make if you're gonna have to choose in terms of what's available in your wallet and stuff like that, between supporting us at €1 a month. On Patreon, or saving that for the Kickstarter when it comes. Honestly, the Kickstarter is the way to go. Obviously, there's not just money in ways to support us. We're very interested in people coming to us with their ideas of gameplay, with their desires to contribute on the project, maybe even code. We're open to that. We have job listings available on the Discord for actual paid jobs. So yeah, there's and obviously the every bit of community interaction we can get is great. So if you're just coming to have fun with the community. And find fun ways to interact and everything. That's also great for us. That even that helps us out. So yeah.
Okay, so monetarily, it'll be the Kickstarter coming in December. But if you want to really help boost the morale, join the Discord server and give these guys a pat on the back for such a huge project. I mean, my goodness. I mean, if you've seen the videos already, I'm impressed. I think they're beautiful, and I think the artwork is beautiful. I think the music is awesome, and I am really looking forward to this project. And I mean, game, excuse me, not project, game. I mean, I'm really looking forward to this. Like, I had to talk to Tatsu as soon as I found out that there's a way to contact this guy. I'm like, yo, dude, let's talk. And we chatted for like an hour and a half. And then I wrote up an interview, and here we are. We're making it happen now. And I have one more question for you, Tatsu. You ready for it?
Yeah, shoot.
Is there anything else you'd like to let us know about?
We went over a lot here with the questions, so I think that's it, right? Yeah. I'll post more information on the Discord and everything. So that's the best place to keep up to date, as we've already said. The things that might come up that I'm probably forgetting right now, I will post there.
Well, that's
Sorry,
important.
I didn't really have anything left. I think we covered so much, so.
I think it's important to reiterate where to get a hold of you and where to get updates, and that is the Sanctuary Discord. So I think that's important. So yeah, definitely check that out and be on the lookout for the Kickstarter come December. So hopefully sometime in the future, as this game develops, we could come back together and talk some more, Tatsu. Would you be interested in that?
Yeah, I'd be willing.
Cool. So come back again, guys. We will be talking to Tatsu. We're going to be following this game on Still Speaks. So hopefully more and more updates come out and we could talk more about it and reveal more to you all. And hopefully you all will become fans of Sanctuary. I'm already a fan, obviously, and hopefully you will too. So you have anything else you'd like to say before we go?
I want to say, thank you for doing this interview, and thank you for all the kind words. Your support means a lot to me. So I just want to say that.
Well,
yeah.
Thank you so much for even allowing me to talk to you about this. It means a lot. This channel is not a huge channel, but it's like, I don't know. I think my people want to know. I want to know. So I think everyone else may want to know a game similar but different to what they already play. So I think this is a huge opportunity for my community and for the Supreme Commander community at a large to support a new game. So I think this is going to be big. That's my opinion, and I'm really hoping it's going to be big.
Man, awesome! I love it. I love the enthusiasm. This is great. This is what lights my spark, right?
Oh, well, that's great. That's wonderful, and I'm hoping to keep this up. And I think it's time to say goodbye. Do you want to say goodbye to everyone?
Yeah. Thanks for having me on, and see you around.
All right. Thank you everyone for watching. Hopefully you made it all the way to the end. I know this is a little bit of a long video, but you know what? There was a lot of information to cover, and I think it was worth it for you all to sit through this. I definitely got a lot out of it. Hopefully you did too. So thank you guys so much. Share with your friends, family, and foes, because they need something interesting to watch as well. And as always, everyone, GG.